certainly is, Hazel. A very good afternoon, everyone. And what a reception these two great champions have had here. Traditional photographs taken. I'm not sure who has won the toss. We'll find out shortly. It's Mark Williams, and he's going to get this.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The first frame. Mark Williams to break.
He's going to get this intriguing.
Stop calling out now, please. Thank you.
Final underway. Brendan Moore just asking him not to shout out when the player's at the table. And of course, the local boy, referee Brendan Moore, doing his second world final. He's been one of our top referees for quite a few years now. Proud day for him. There's the tournament pot success rate. John just ahead at 92%. And slightly ahead in the long pot department as well.
Make sure your phone is switched off, please.
And look at the highest break, 140, and the highest of the tournament, a 146 from John Higgins. We could have a few tactical battles in this final as well, Alan.
Yes, we could do that. Both these fellas are, well, practitioners of the sweet science of snooker, both of them. This is bound to be a classic encounter, there's no doubt about it.
And there's John Higgins' family, his wife Denise there, Pierce, Oliver and Claudia, and seen them up in the Champions Lounge earlier, and they are so proud of their husband and dad. And on the other balcony, that's the Williams. That's Joe there, and that's Kane, Steve Feeney on the left, and Lee Walker, still playing on the tour, has been with Mark for a good few years now. And that's not a bad start from the Welsh potting machine.
Yeah, beautiful shot. First pot of the final. First half chance to Big Willow.
Eight. Nine.
Well, he looks pretty fresh here. He must be exhausted after that semi-final. I come out of the commentary box, Alan, and my legs were weak, and I enjoyed every single ball potted in that semi-final. Lasted just over 11 hours, and just couldn't pick
60.
a winner right to the very end.
Yeah, and this is this is actually the highest combined age of both finalists in the history of this great championship.
70.
A combined age of 85, beating the record of 1978 when Ray Reardon beat Perry Manns in the Crucible. The combined age of 83, back then 40 years ago.
Well, this is a terrific start from Mark. Just what you want in the opening frame, in amongst the reds
23.
with the black available. Oh,
20.
he hasn't quite pushed through there. And this is tough. Just needed a little bit more top spin. Terrific
31.
cut on the black, and he's left himself a chance of a long red into the same pocket.
Just about on the blue. Will he be tempted to try and bring other reds into play? Actually, just thinking that the long history these two have got playing one another. They were actually in the practice room 15-20 minutes ago. I was in there with them. They were reminiscing about the good old days. Well, these are the halcyon days, I suppose, but it was fun times in the practice room.
That's a little bit unlucky. I don't think this red cuts back.
37.
Try to hit that red full ball. Just try and get down the table. If you can't cut this in, it's a very thin one.
Mark Williams, 37.
He's got away with it. And he just sort of apologized by putting the cue on the table as John came through to see what was left for him. Absolutely nothing. I think I mentioned earlier in the tournament about these two great players. John Higgins got to be world #1 and world champion in 6 seasons. And his opponent, Mark Williams, got to be world champion and world #1 in 7 seasons. That's quite remarkable.
Yeah, and whoever wins and picks up the World Championship trophy tomorrow evening will actually set a new record. If John Higgins was to win it, it would be the longest span between lifting this title. It would be 20 years, which would actually eclipse the great Joe Davis, who held this title from first to last, was 19 years. Mark Williams, if he was to win, obviously it would be 18 years, and that would be the longest span of a crucible champion from first to last. So John having himself out of that little situation, a chance to perhaps put Mark under some pressure for the first time this afternoon.
And Mark will come around and have a look at a red there. He's going to play safe off. It might cut into the right corner pocket. There's a gap between 2 reds, and that's what he's looking at. And he's fixing his belt. If you remember, he had to borrow a belt last night. His own had snapped. There's the gap I mentioned. Well, he's left a red near the corner pocket, but it's not straightforward. And the white, not absolutely sure if he can miss the reds. It's all about the pot, this. Yeah, he got the pot and he also found the gap there. Excellent shot.
I'm going to be so interested in these early stages to see how John Higgins settles in, because he said that he found something in the practice room a couple of days ago. He shortened his delivery.
6.
Just a simple thing. And I can tell you that I know that when John finds something in the practice room, he takes it with him. He carries it with him for extended periods of time, and he plays well for long periods of time. That's the thing. Actually, I remember 2 or 3 years ago, he was out in China doing a little coaching clinic, and he was teaching some school kids, and there was a stance thing that he was showing one of the kids, and he thought, maybe I should try that, and he did, and he started, his game picked up, started winning titles again. When he feels comfortable, look out.
$50.
Yeah, he missed the cannon there. He wanted to just glance off the 3 reds, bring them into play, because he was guaranteed to be on a red to the right corner, but misjudged the cannon.
$23.
Unintentional cannon on the red has put him out of position.
Yeah, he just potted it thick, didn't he? Far jaw. The white cue ball went wider.
Well, he's looking at the potting angle. This is a thin one.
John Higgins, 23.
Yeah, that was very difficult indeed from that angle.
One.
The only thing with taking the black on, if he missed it with Mark before he came to the table, was 14 in front. Mark doesn't need that red that's on the right side cushion if and when he got that far. It was a poor opening shot. You can almost
6.
pick his spot in top side of the blue. Recovery required. Yeah, very good. Played it full-blooded, and he's going to be rewarded for it.
$40. $15.
Got a nice angle on the brown if he wants to try and develop that red there. Just between blue and brown near the cushion. And he's trying to drop on it. And his touch is amazing. He keeps saying about how he just floats the ball into the pocket, and that one was
90.
judged to perfection.
We're in the first frame, and this is the 3rd time I've asked, can you please make sure that all phones are switched off? 20.
Alan mentioned that Mark won't need that difficult red. It's on the right side cushion. But this is not a gimme.
25.
This one just needs this red. He didn't try and get onto the black,
25.
he just tried to make sure of the pot. Not the best from John there. Could be a Mark Williams special to clinch this opening frame. And a nice kiss on the brown also. That last shot that Mark knocked in, these two players, John is unbelievable at that type of shot as well.
5. Mark Williams, 5.
John coming to the table, but Mark's looking good in this opening frame. 44, the difference with 35 on. Well, there's no sign of tiredness there from Mark Williams. Doesn't matter where the white finishes. John will stay in his seat this time.
8.
He's
And
already signalled to the referee.
Mark Williams.
The white potting machine, Mark Williams, gets off to a good start, and he takes the opening frame in this final.
Thank you. The second frame. John Higgins to break.
The ideal start for Mark Williams then. Also be encouraged just the way the tail end of that frame, the 2 long reds that he knocked in. Also, the first red of this final, that was a cracking pot. Looks like he's got his eye in early. The great names roll off the tongue, the great champions of the Crucible: Reardon, Davis, Hendry, Higgins, O'Sullivan, Selby. If Mark Williams is to join that illustrious group, then you feel the ultimate king of cool, Mark Williams, must overcome perhaps the ultimate uber player in this, the ultimate contest. As I say, a very good start by Mark.
Yeah, that's what everybody, when they turn professional, their ambition is to lift that trophy with that lovely lady on top of the lid.
One.
Another great long pot, and it yields a snooker.
Mark Williams, 1.
Yeah, it's a beautiful trophy as well. There's something about finals, isn't it, when the trophy's on the end of the table and both players are just in your eye all the time. Gorgeous piece of silverware. That could tell a few stories then.
Well, I remember losing to Terry Griffiths in the final in '79, and we went out with the sponsors, and Terry hadn't got a car, and I'd got that lovely trophy in the boot of my car, even though I'd lost in the final. But I did eventually manage to get it.
Yeah, it's come a long way since 91 years ago when Joe Davis won it for the first time in a place called Campkins Hall in Birmingham, which no longer exists, actually.
And that's the black.
Foul, and a miss. Mark Williams, 7. Free ball.
Put it back. Yeah, he's got to get quite close to the blue and the red on the way around the table. It's
Okay.
yeah, I think the shot he's
Foul,
trying,
miss.
I don't think the angle's
Mark
there.
Williams, 4.
Yeah, John didn't move because he knew Mark was going to have it put back.
Okay. Oh.
I think he'd go closer to the black again. Well, he got close to the red, so you see it's checking up, but this time he's left a red
Foul,
for Mark
miss.
Williams. That was a tough
Mark
snooker
Williams,
to
4.
escape from.
Four. Five.
needed to come back just a little bit further. He's just running away from the reds here. That was about the best he could do from that position.
11.
This looks to be the only red that's available. The others are all covering each other.
Mark Williams.
Well,
11.
he's got away with it. That red that he missed is ran safe.
Yes, so far in this final, John has not been able to find a decisive safety shot as yet. He's not really had Mark under pressure, as I said before. He's still striving to find one. This could be it, though. Good line. And he's got it this time. Good shot.
Yeah, he's got to get into the bunch of reds, because the two that are either side of the black there, if he tried to land on one of those, he'd leave the other. He's quite close to the brown there, but he can still get off the side cushion, but he'll have to be very precise with this. And he'll settle for that.
Touching ball.
In fact, it's a touching ball, but I don't know if John can get back down behind the yellow and brown.
Can I be touching that one?
He might be touching the pink also, but it's one of those, if the red moves, it's a foul shot. So he's going to have to catch the pink as well with side. Well, pink didn't move in the end, but he got the white where he wanted.
Yes, again a good cue ball from Mark. And John can't get any purchase on this cue ball. I fancy him taking that red on. Can't avoid the cannon. I was also thinking, these fellas been around for so long. I think both players actually throughout this final, that there'll be times out there they'll be smelling the flowers, taking it all in. You know, when you're younger, you're only thinking about winning. It's, as I said last evening, eat, sleep, snooker, repeat. Not quite the case now. Both fellas will be having the time of their lives out there. Yeah, John just trying to buy himself another shot.
What's the shot maker got lined up here? That shot he pulled off yesterday, where he knocked the red in over the middle pocket with one that was over the left side and finished on the black, was one of the best shots, right up there with the best shots I've seen at the Crucible.
One.
Started off with a run-of-the-mill 3-ball plant.
Yeah, that black wasn't too shabby either, was it? Here's the red again. Minimum risk for maximum gain. That's the way of the willow. Tough shot this now. All about the pot. Oh, that's a great shot. He really does look sharp this morning, doesn't he? Fine fetter.
40.
Yeah, when you've got the butt end of the cue in the air on that type of shot, so easy to get a little bit of unwanted side. I'm not sure what time Mike Williams got to sleep last night. I know Hazel was on about being in a kebab shop at 2:30, but he really forced that one, which he had
Williams,
to do to
15.
split the reds. Now, has he got away with this? That is very tight as to whether he can pot that. Might just be able to see enough of it.
One.
But we see that happen quite a bit when you're coming off another red. So you had to power that in to open the reds, but John just lost the cue ball a little bit there.
Make him feel really good inside knocking that pink
7.
in. And the difference the second half of his match against Kyron Wilson was huge contrast to the way he kind of started. He was trying to find his game out there. These guys are that good that when they're on song, those little recovery shots which are massive at this level, when they're knocking those in, they really do look like scoring heavy every chance they get.
8.
Good response this by John. I think as well with this final that there's not going to be any surprises. You know, they know both one another, know each other so well. Their games, history, shared a lot of time on the road, abroad and all around the world. No surprises.
That was never going to be easy
40.
because of finishing almost straight on the pink. It would be the green and black that he'd be looking for to drop in behind.
John Higgins, 40.
These two great players, I find it difficult to pick out who's the best tactical player. They're both brilliant. at the safety part of the game. They really are. Now there's a red over the left corner, or near the left corner. If he comes down the left side of the table as we look at it, he's got to get in behind those three colours. The yellow, brown and blue are quite a target to get behind. Well, he hasn't covered that red, but you can't take these for granted.
Yeah, John actually won't be massively disappointed to leave this because he knows it's a toughie. And Mark is liable to cannon a red or pink on the way back up. Long game's been good so far. Just a little surprised he played it like that. Okay, he obviously fancied it, that's why he played it, but difficult at that pace. I suppose if it goes in, likely to be a good chance. John went back to his chair not massively disappointed, so can he take advantage of the forced error? No. No.
It's one of those shots, you're cutting it back into a blind pocket. You can't see the pocket in your eye line, you're just guessing it. And he didn't hit it thin enough.
One.
That's another lovely shot with the drag where you hit the white on the bottom and you hit it with quite a bit of pace and it pulls the white up. It's a tough shot to execute. It's where you strike down in the just below center.
7. Eight.
Just in behind the green, nothing pots there.
Mark Williams, 8.
And John will try and find a route to the red behind the pink near the cushion. I think he can do it off one cushion, so he should be okay. Mind is having to swerve it a little bit to make the angle. A little unlucky to hit it like that. That's there.
Yeah, you can tell he just fancied it. See, most people can be afraid of winning. Great champions are afraid of
7.
losing. Absolutely no hesitation, even going back
8.
to that long red that Mark attempted, trying to win the frame. Looks in good touch here. Oh dear me. He missed a black like that actually yesterday, didn't he?
8.
In the same, the bottom jaw. I don't know whether you're not seeing it properly. Did he see movement but behind his cue possibly? Not sure.
Well, a chance for John to get on the black here.
One.
That's now going to have to be the pink. He's 43 behind.
How many times have we seen John in this situation? You think he can't clear up again, surely. Big shot this.
Oh, he's in the pocket.
Foul. John Higgins,
Just
1. Mark Williams, 6.
got a little bit too much action on that. He had lots of side on it. If he misses the middle pocket, he'll spin towards the 2 reds and went straight in the middle. So
yeah, he just actually potted it in the thick part of the pocket, which meant the cue ball went more down the table than off. And that was the red that Mark knocked in frame 1 to seal it. And the same again.
Mark
John
Williams, 1. And the frame.
Concedes. So the good start continues for Mark Williams. And he leads the 4-time champion John Higgins 2 frames to 0.
well, that was quite amazing.
Thank you to 3rd frame. Mark Williams to break.
Got the crowd going there, watching Mark eating sweets.
Yeah, I said his cueing was sweet, but steady on.
Oh, he's kept a few for later as well there. Mind you, I do remember in 1979 playing Steve Davis, and he had a plate of sandwiches brought out. Never seen that one before either.
Here's this red again. Stephen mentioned a decent long game this morning. Oh, great shot again. Just didn't get a hold of it.
Yeah, 1-1.
Quite get the purchase on the cue ball. Great positive intent to that shot.
Mark Williams, 1.
John Higgins is going to have to play some of his finest safety play to get a chance, because at the moment Mark Williams is not leaving a sniff for him.
There's always a pattern out there. It seemed that you think back to John against Kyron. It was Kyron the one who was trying to figure out the puzzle, how to break down the Higgins defences. It actually looks sort of the other way, this match. John desperately trying to get in the first little body blow in these safety battles. Just can't find a good one. Something else to note, cushions have been recovered overnight, so they tend to play softer, especially early on, so you can hit these shots harder.
Escape route cut off down the right side of the table. Possible pot on, but where would the cue ball go? If he potted it, he'd probably be snookered. Yeah, it's a bit of a problem, because if he played the one that's near the pocket and left the white in the jaws, there's a couple of reds available into the right corner. That's why he's having to think long and hard about this. And in the end, he might just have to try and pot his way out of trouble.
Looking at just trying to rest on the red. It's on the side cushion, but nothing doing there. The fact he's playing a long bridge tells me he's taking this on. There you see the fingertips and the edge. Oh, what a shot. Unlucky.
And as I mentioned, that was always going to be the problem. How was he going to get out of those reds? There was just no way. And there was always a chance that he could have snookered himself. But what a pot, though.
What ball was that, sorry? Thank you. Green ball.
Nominated the green. So he'll have to get lots of left-hand side on this, which he has done.
Mark Williams won.
It's 2 or 3 times already this afternoon Mark Williams has knocked in a must-get red. Alright, he's not unfortunate to not get on a colour off it, but it just keeps John at bay for you know, the longer he keeps John up at that end of the table, the better. Again, John producing a good safety shot. Thing is, against Mark Williams, 1 or 2 ain't enough. You've got to play at 6, 8, even 10 good safety shots that think you can force a mistake. One thing you do know, they'll always pick the correct option. That's a wonderful shot. It really was. He actually didn't play the pot. It was half ball, and it's not that he sees that he's going to miss the cannon and the 2 reds on the left. He feels that he's going to miss them. It's a feeling that a player has out there. Seen these things so many times. It looks right to them, and it looked a proper shot. John's having a go.
was just thinking about screwing back off this red and sending it on to another one to keep it up this end of the table and screw the white back. If he attempts that, he's got to be careful he doesn't bring a red back up the table also.
I think he's actually sending this red down in and out of balk and back down. That's what he's played. He's got the jaw. Yeah, it might have looked quite reckless actually. It was quite a good percentage shot. John shaping up now. Can he get through to the red? It looks like he can, yeah. So that good safety shot is just forced half a chance.
One.
And he's played that very nicely. When the pink is respotted, it will still be available into a couple of pockets. And he's got the perfect angle on this red to leave the pink
7.
for the opposite corner. So it's developing into a very good chance, this.
8.
It's like a practice routine the way they're sitting here, the reds. And even for the greats like John Higgins, you never settle in a match until you get your first frame on the board.
14. 15.
All these shots, watch the cue ball, never travels more than 18 inches, 2 feet. Series of little stuns and screws. This is the art of break building. You're watching right here.
21. 22.
But that wasn't the best. Leaving himself hampered here. And that's what can happen.
John Higgins, 22.
When you're striking down on that, he got a little bit of unwanted side there because he had to play it with a little bit of pace. He's not happy at the moment, John Higgins, that's for sure.
One.
Yeah, it's all right. It wouldn't exactly be pinching the frame if Mark Williams was to make a big contribution here, but mentally it would be.
7.
Started only, what, 20 behind, but he would have been sitting in his chair a few seconds ago thinking, well, 2-1, he can't believe he's back at the table this quickly.
Yeah, it was just John's positional shot where he left himself hampered that caused the problem. He'll have to try and forget about that as quickly as possible.
Forty. 50. 21.
Yeah, this was the shot here. Just a little lapse in concentration to leave the white there.
Thanks. 22.
Because you need just a little bit of pace to get position. Unwanted side, caused him to miss it. Tried to develop the red, but the double kisses left him perfect.
28.
It's all going very nicely for the Welshman at the moment.
$29.
We're always talking about the laid-back attitude of Mark
35.
Williams. This is where you get the payoff. These kind of situations. Long day, long couple of weeks, but
36.
that long and grueling semi-final, and we all thought take a lot out of him, but he just brushes it off mentally. He just thinks, well, okay, done and dusted, put it in the back burner, get out and play, have some fun. Great temperament he has, and a great outlook.
42.
And a double to keep things going. No.
Mark Williams, 42.
I expected him to get that double. 22 in front. Well, he needs a bit of angle on the blue here to get up to the red behind the black spot. Has he got it? Just.
Six.
Oh, played that well.
7.
Not only the pot, but look at the angle he's got. He can bring that red off the cushion right here and now.
$13.
Yeah, probably just stretching a tad.
John Higgins, 30.
Now, Mark Williams now needs the green. 9 points in front. Has he got the confidence to try and shift it off this red?
Well, that's the shot he'll be playing, Alan, I'm sure. And almost pulled it off. You can see 17 ahead.
8.
He puts the yellow and green. John Higgins could still tie. He's going to need the brown as well.
10.
It's a natural to come out for the brown, but delicate little shot required.
I said it was the king of cool. That was very cool indeed.
17.
It looked as if John Higgins was going to get his first frame on the board until he just left himself hampered when he was in amongst them.
$22.
He's not going to bother about
28 in the frame.
He's played brilliant. He's won 3. Who was expecting this? He was. He leads John Higgins by 3 frames to 0.
Thank you. Frame 4. John Higgins to break.
Yes, and good stuff there, the boys. Hazel, John is definitely on the chase this morning. Not settled as yet. Surprising, 3 frames in. Mark, absolutely horizontal out there, so laid back. The occasion almost meaningless in his mind.
I hadn't realised he closed his eyes on the pink. You see it happen sometimes on a straightforward black, but he was miles away from the pink. How can you close your eyes and knock a pink like that in? Now have a look at this. Now if you're right behind a black you would maybe try that, but the pink's miles away. Look where the pink is. That's astonishing. Well, there's another absolute gem of a long pot. And the bookies, Alan, had made John Higgins a fairly strong favourite. I think it was 4-7. That's where you'd have to put £7 down to win 4.
9.
But at the moment, this Welsh player is defying those odds.
Someone else actually just thinking about Mark Williams' technique. He stays down in the shot longer than he ever did back in the day. If you probably looked at a video from him, saying video showing my age, but he stays down in the shot for. Yeah, that's gone wrong now. Yeah, disappointed with that being wrong side of the blue, but it was going back to the long pot.
40.
That's cracking long pot a minute or so ago. When he's feathering at the cue ball, it's actually very deliberate compared to the way he used to be. It was a couple of just light feathers, really quick, and off he went. You see here, he stays down for quite a bit of time. Oh, good shot.
Mark Williams, 14.
Yeah, I think the yellow's coming to the rescue. As you can see, mid-session interval coming up after this frame. That's what you call a slow swerve, and the side takes the white to the red. John feels that he might be able to pot a red in the left middle pocket. Must be tight. Not easy, this one. Good cueing, very good cueing. Had to make something happen, and that certainly has given him a very good chance here.
Seven. Eight.
%, concentration required. He doesn't want to do what he did in
50.
the previous frame when he left himself hampered.
60. 23. $24.
He just needs this for his own belief, John Higgins. No, it sounds a bit silly, but not even so much winning
31.
the frame, but the way he wins this. If he can win it in one visit, it'll just reaffirm to him in his
32.
own mind that he's feeling confident in hitting the ball well, because he definitely is. There's no doubt about it. But it's all right. Thinking the game, you know, talking the talk. You've got to walk the walk. This is better.
39.
He certainly walked the walk against
40.
Kyron Wilson, because he made 2 centuries and a 90+ break in 3 of the last 4 frames.
$47. $48. $55.
Could have been better. Can still pot this red, but it's a bit of a cutback. No problem getting on a colour. It's all about the pot here. Oh, we got a kick. What a time to get a heavy contact.
John
How
Higgins.
unlucky is that?
55.
He's got the frame at his mercy and he gets a heavy contact.
One.
And all of a sudden, Mark Williams in with a chance. $3-0 behind, going along nicely, about to win your first frame, and that happens. You get a
8.
kick.
Nine.
There's one awkward red, and he's got an angle here. He may not play to move it this time. He'll leave it there. Well, John,
60.
very unfortunate there. Meanwhile, Mark has come up a little bit short. Similar type shot to the one that John got the kick on.
$70. $22. $23.
All about that last red. It's
30.
behind the black. This is not a gimme here, but he's going along nicely here.
$31.
What a body blow this would be, Alan.
Yeah, he's trying to develop the red, is he? You know, dropping it in, so again he's backing himself. Earlier about great champions, they They just seem to know the right path on these clearances.
38.
Biggest shot of the final so far. Nope.
Mark Williams, 38.
So that kick hasn't cost John the frame, not yet, as we show you that difficult one along the cushion, but it's ran safe. And what a difference that can make at times when you do miss. When you're playing well, you always seem to get away with it. When you're not, if you miss, you stick the pot up.
Thanks.
Puff of the cheeks there from John. It's been a tough mini session here for him. And now he's got a chance to get his first frame on the board.
Yeah, massive difference, isn't it? John getting close to 3-1. You start going 4-0, 5-0 behind you. You're probably not, if you're ever going to catch your opponent, you're probably not going to catch him till probably sometime tomorrow afternoon. That's at best. It's important he gets himself into the match here. Under normal circumstances, this is just, well, a formality. And he's lost the cue ball just a touch. Work to do. Not the best player in the world with the rest is John.
3.
Don't get me wrong, he's not poor with it. He's just not as good as one or two the fellow top 16 players. Big shot now.
All over the place with the cue ball at the moment. It was as if he hadn't made his mind up whether to roll it in or stun it in, Alan.
Yeah, I agreed then, but actually, if we could see John cueing at the rest, his tips on feather, and it's probably about 3 or 4 inches back from the cue ball, so when you go to deliver, you're kind of trying to search for the cue ball. Oh, that was a big shot. Here's another. I think he's playing for the brown in the yellow pocket. Nope. It's not his favourite implement, there's no
John
question
Higgins,
about it.
5.
And this will be a body blow because it was the kick that cost him this frame. Okay, bad positional shot on the green. But it wasn't his fault that he got the heavy contact.
3. Seven.
And that wasn't the best positional shot that Mark's ever played. But that was an excellent positional shot played with loads of side there, Alan.
Yeah, played it with check. What a brave shot as well as anything. In goes the pink. John Higgins got a kick and it's his chance. They consider himself unfortunate, but Mark Williams won't mind it one bit. He goes to the first mid-session interval and he leads the final 4-0.
Tell him. Well, I was just... Where's Mike?
He's just gone down to the front of the... Not to get him.
Thank you. Frame 5. Mark Williams to break.
Off we go then. Mark Williams, frame 5 of the World Championship final, and leading 4 frames to 0. Cracking little couple of chats that, wasn't it, with the boys and Rob Walker last evening.
Mark at 90%, this is where you want to be, or just over. John at 83%. And that's not a bad start. Needs to keep rolling though. Doesn't seem to be quite as fast, this cloth.
Yeah, thank you. Foul. John Higgins 1.
Yeah, John told the referee that he didn't quite make it.
Free ball.
And he's left a free ball, trying to be so delicate there. Let's have a look at it. Amazing.
Yeah, there was a famous one in the final last year, where Mark Selby trying to nestle in behind the black down this end. It was brilliant refereeing then by Jan.
Green ball.
Brendan Moore, another top-class referee in charge of this year's final, his second. There he is, Brendan, casting his beady eye over proceedings. Local lad. Amazing to think, actually, just thinking about Mark Williams and some of the great things he's managed to achieve in his long career. He was actually the world senior champion just over 3 years ago.
Yeah, how did he ever get to play in that? He was only 39 at the time as well, Alan. He had to be over 40. Sneaked his way into it and won it.
John being positive here, in and out of bulk, top side of blue. Good shot.
Yeah, excellent. Sometimes the mid-session interval can change things around. It's a bit of a chance, but the black's tied up, the pink's tied up. It's not a good chance. The reds are nicely placed.
Six.
Yeah, it's a bit of a risk if he was to take the one to the right of the black and try and develop it. It could go wrong. He's looked at the possibility, doesn't like it. So straight back off the cushion for the blue again. You've got the perfect picture of the screw back. Oh, didn't put it in the center of the pocket, that's for sure. Seemed to jump a little bit, that. Let's have a look. There's a slight detection where the red jumped. You see, he's got a red too from the black there to the left. There's no use, there's no position off that.
13.
Now he might just take the chance here of going straight into the pink. That could really open things up. Well, it's brought a couple of reds into play, but he was hoping to play that cannon in such a way that the pink would have been
18.
brought into play. So still a lot to do here to keep getting back for the blue. That's perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Yes, played that lovely. That's actually the best shot John's struck so far in this final. I'll give him some confidence. Playing for 2 reds obviously here. He just can't quite get the pink in the open play just yet.
24.
But he didn't play that too well there. White should have been further up the table. Change of plan now to get back for the blue off this one into the left corner. It's not the one he played for, but
25.
he's safely back the correct side of the blue. Once again, he's lost the cue ball just a little bit. This is thinner than he wanted.
Yeah, he's definitely finding the bed of the table just a touch on the slow side as John.
31.
2 or 3 the last few shots, he just keeps landing short. Decent position again though.
And now he's got a chance if he finishes on this red to the right of the black. Well, he's looking at the other one, but he was playing on this one
34.
so that he could pot it and just cannon the red away from the black. But he's not far enough up the table for that.
Yep.
He can get to 64. He'll get his first frame on the board, you would think.
Yeah, Stephen said in studio, it's a funny dynamic that's going on right now. Until John gets his first frame, he ain't gonna feel settled in it. With champions like John, as he said, if it was a decider and he had to make that clearance in the last frame, you'd fancy him all day long.
Well, he's had to work so hard for this break. He's been up and down
41.
the table. He's been all over the place.
42.
Ahead, so not
48.
that many pots away from his first frame in this year's final.
Okay. 49.
It's a kind of strange one, the way the match has gone so far. You know, these matches, a lot of the time you get a feeling of what's going on out there. It feels to me that
55.
John looks the more likely to score heavy, and yet he's 4-0 behind. That was a kick that did for him, and that last frame, but he definitely looks good
56.
when he's in close.
Yeah, look at that high break of marks, 42 to lead 4-0. But I think we might see a different John Higgins now that
62.
he's got the first frame on the board. Just needs this red to make absolutely certain.
63.
Yeah, there's one player in the game who's never going to panic, even though he lost all four and was 4-0 behind.
69.
He knew that the mid-session interval could change things around, and it looks as if it has. John's had 7 centuries so far in this year's Betfred World Championship. And we've had 78
76.
in the tournament, chasing that record of 86.
77.
Yeah, we'd have to have 9 centuries in the final to beat that record that was set
84.
a few years ago.
85.
And this is a player that's had 54 centuries this season.
$92. 94.
So normal play resumes for the Wizard of Wishaw.
$97.
That's a fabulous century from John Higgins.
$106.
Yes, the path that you have travelled matters not. It's only the path that you're on that really
112.
matters. Fabulous. 119 of the finest. John Higgins gets his first frame in the board of the World Final and trails Mark Williams by 4 frames to 1.
Thank you. Frame 6. Quiet down, please. John Higgins to break.
And a poor break off from John to bring the red up. and leave Mark with an early chance. Yeah, that was John's 727th century break. Only Stephen Hendry and Ronnie O'Sullivan has made more. I mean, he did leave the auditorium, come back in again, and probably made his worst break off. And that was play. There was no good fortune about that. He'd picked that cannon out. And what a shot. Come up a little bit short with his position there. Having to go back. Might be able to hold. No, had to go for the blue.
9.
Just coming around to have a look at the two reds that are closest to the black, just to make sure that there you go. Just cleaning the chalk marks off the table. That's what he was looking at there. Got the one to the left of the bunch also.
$14. 15.
All our viewers know how I like to try and study all players. Tell you what, something a lot of people wouldn't really think about, but for me, Mark Williams is the best in the business at it, is walk round the table. I just love it. It's like
22.
He's on a conveyor belt. So he just sort of glides round, stress-free, relaxed shoulders. No tension in there at all as this red struggled in. Even there, such a nice little shot. Made it look so simple, but half-ball cannon.
30.
Yeah, both
31.
players are similar with their shot time. They're both around 21, 22 seconds usually. Now you see it. This time he's stuck in the reds. So end of break by the looks of things.
38. Mark Williams, 38.
That poor break-off shot from John Higgins has cost him 38 points. There's a lot of very good safety players in the professional game, but there's a certain amount of them that put the white in such a position it's very difficult to return the safety. And Mark Williams is one of them, and so is John Higgins. They're just not playing the white down the table. They're making it as awkward as possible for their opponent. Is he having a go at this? He did. And it could be very costly indeed. couldn't see an escape route there, so tried to pot his way out of trouble.
Yeah, he was hoping to get at least close to the pot, and then he gets a fuller cannon on the black, but excuse me, missing it so thick, he completely lost the cue ball. It's funny that in the modern game that you think about people's safety game, it kind of used to be about execution of safety shot. It's not about that. It's about the shot that you choose is the most important thing, and therefore the best snooker brain, the best minds of the game are the ones that excel in that department.
6.
I said before, these two great practitioners of the game, two of the very best.
7.
Well, he's looked at the black and he's looked at the yellow, and even though he's hampered, the black is the better choice for position. But he's hit the black too thin. Needs to pull up. I think he's just okay. There's one in the middle of those reds that pots, and I think he can just about
40.
reach it. There, you see it there.
That's where centre ball striking is so important. You just get more revs on the cue ball, so the cue ball comes back with less effort. That was a beautiful shot, and that's what he does now, Mark. He hits the middle of the cue ball in not every shot, but when he's trying to hit it, he hits it. You see, if you hit
22.
the middle of the ball, you're effectively hitting more volume of ball. Therefore, there's less effort to impart the spin that you want. It's not rocket science, but it's difficult to do it.
You could see there where he was addressing the ball right down at the bottom of the cue ball to create the backspin.
28.
And winning this frame
29.
means that he's guaranteed a lead going into the second session.
$34. 35.
And still, the steady pace remains. Nothing hurried. So many elements of this sport that people don't maybe think of. Breathing, walking, everything.
40.
It's all part of your game out there. And when I say breathing, you know, just trying to... It's easy to walk around the table and sort of be holding your breath, and then obviously the tension can build. It's important to try and relax.
Already Mark's highest break in this year's final.
48. 49.
But this frame, a clear indication of how good it is to make a good break-off shot, which John didn't do after making that century break. Brought a red down, and that
54.
opened the door for the 38 break to start this frame.
55. $60.
It's those revs in the cue ball again. Top reaction
61.
out of the cue ball.
And top reaction to your opponent knocking a century break, coming back with this.
$68. 70.
So all of a sudden this final picking up pace. Both players cueing well, as you would expect.
$73.
And what about this for a positional shot?
77. $82. $88.
What a way to respond to your opponent in the century break.
Williams.
Back to the break of 38 and then finished off with that fantastic clearance. And now Mark Williams leads John Higgins by 5 frames to 1.
Thank you to 7th frame. Mark Williams to break.
Yes, there's actually been a lot of finals down the years with huge comebacks. Even last year, John Higgins, he led Mark Selby, not sure, around 10-3 at one stage. Certainly 9-3, I remember. So many times Mark Selby himself been well behind to Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Well, if ever he needed a long pot, this is it, because he can get on the black if he knocks this in. Wonderful curing.
Yeah, just starting to come alive now, this final, as we knew it would. He actually potted a red in the other corner last night, yesterday against Kyron, didn't he, to win the last frame, to kick off the break that won the last frame. So it just signs here that both players are starting to just grow into this final. As the boys said, John really could be doing with Nick in the last couple of frames.
9.
There's still 4 reds available for John here.
60. Yep.
I think he wants to leave the one. He's on the one at the back of the pack there, but he wants to leave that there for later so that he can possibly pot that and split the reds when he does that. So he's away at 3 or 4 shots ahead.
Thanks.
Well, let's see how he gets himself
70.
on that red I mentioned here. Looks as if he can screw back in behind it. Now he's left himself a bit straighter on this, so won't be able to do it this time.
24. $25.
So he's picked off all the loose
32.
ones. 4 reds, 4 blacks.
$33.
And a pretty good angle, but they're not a good pack to go into. He'd want to stun into the left red at the back there. He wouldn't mind springing off to the left with the loose red available, which is what he's done, and he's played it very well indeed. Played that extremely well, and now just play for the blue here.
$41.
I'm pleased to see this standard now from both players. There could have been a lot of tactical play. They're both brilliant at that, but they're in potting mode. And John up to 91%, but look at Mark sitting at 93% with his pot success rate. Look at Mark at 88% with a long pot. Oh, that got a big bounce off the cushion. That really did come off the cushion. That's baffled John. He can't believe that
46.
one. And that spoiled the break. He just played once again for a single red, but that come off the cushion much faster than it went onto it.
John Higgins, 46.
Well, he's left a bit of a tempter here for Mark Williams. He didn't intend to. Wanted the white on the baulk cushion. Just wondering if he could take a double on here as a free shot. He'd be on the black. The red at the back of that little bunch could be possibly on for a double, and John's very good at that type of shot. He's just check to see if he would leave anything. And he wasn't, so has he got it? Of course he has. The Higgins family there. And I just noticed Josephine on the right there. She's come down as well. One of the best, Alan, at picking out doubles, John?
Well, he's the best, there's no question. Remember that famous final against Judd Trump? He doubled the pink to leave a mid-distance black to win the title. How's the split? No. Not terrible, not perfect. At least the
16.
I can see the one to the middle, that's a little bonus. Be careful with these. These are not as easy as it might look. Sometimes you just don't see the line properly. Well done.
17.
Just the red, and back to 3 behind.
23.
Very interesting final frame of the session coming up. John can close to 5-3. He'd be going in tonight feeling
24.
really quite positive, actually.
Yeah, you don't lose your form in a day here after you've produced the snooker that
31.
this man has. As I mentioned, against
32.
Kyron Wilson, 2 centuries and a 90 in the last, well, 3 of the last 4 frames.
$38. 39. $46. 47.
Yeah, it's unlucky with the cannon, so it'll be cross double.
52.
Not this time.
John Higgins, 52.
Very good response from John Higgins. And he closes the gap to just 3 again, at trailing 5 frames to 2.
Thank you. The final frame of this session. John Higgins to break.
This is definitely the last frame of this session. Mark wasn't quite sure. He asked the referee, Brendan Moore, who confirmed that it will be the last frame. Under 2 hours, just 1 hour 50 minutes and counting. 15 minutes and 40 seconds average frame time. Mark Williams just tapped his leg there in appreciation. Usually they tap the table, but that time just patted his leg to say, good shot, John. Delicate, very delicate. Delicate, very delicate again. Do with a touching ball here, but it's not. You can still play away up the table. Just got to be a little bit wary of the red nearest the blue. Doesn't want to hit the brown. That's a poor shot from John, it has to be said. Mark Williams should never have had a look at this one.
He just somehow knew that was in. Just brushed it in. Love the way he played it, actually. Didn't overhit it. Feature of Mark Williams' style.
6.
Here it is again. See, tension sometimes makes you overhit shots like that, but got an exponent in the game that doesn't really feel it, so he's able to just brush it in, as I say.
7.
He's a big lad here. He'll need to be to reach this pink, but I wonder how much work he wants to put in the cue ball, if any. Yeah, happy to play in the loose red. Play very, very well though. Not absolutely certain here, is he? Playing, he might even play the cannon in the black.
Look at the putt success rate in the last 3 frames, 97%. Doesn't want to be straight on the black, and he's not. But unusual, look at 14. The reds. They're like, they're reversed. It's as if the pyramid was facing the other way. Never seen that before. Well, that's the end of break. That's the first really careless shot that Mark has played. A little shake of the head
21.
tells you what he thinks of that.
Cushion's still on the slow side. John's been struggling with that as well, especially this black cushion. He's trying to push the yellow safe there, Mark.
Mark Williams, 21.
Now the yellow that you mentioned there, Alan, will be the target for the safety shot. It's as if you're trying to play a cannon onto the yellow and you know you have a chance of a snooker. Almost. Had he have made contact with that yellow full ball, he would have had the snooker.
He's having a go at this, I think, Mark. First shot of this match he potted was not dissimilar, but this is tougher. Yep, not this time. Yes, the he's having to inject so much pace into that.
Everything's safe though. This red won't pass the other red up into the corner. Just thinking about screwing back behind the black. Which would mean he'd have to knock this red onto the one that's closest to the middle pocket and screw back behind the black.
He's just here, he's just trying to work something out of nothing. When there's nothing on, just play a nothing shot. I think, you know, these players are, sometimes you get greedy. Last frame of the session, you want to make it happen. But if it's not on, don't play it. At least he's getting a good cue ball. He's playing the plant. Yeah, perhaps he tried to just slip off that red and slide in off the other one. As I say, the main thing was he was always guaranteed a good cue ball.
The only thing with that last shot he attempted, he's given the initiative to Mark. And he gets the white tight. He's got the advantage. Just enough to be able to screw back, as you can see. And it's a pretty good one. It's the first awkward frame we've had, really. 4 reds up the other end of the table.
One of those frames, isn't it, where both players having to just work so hard every shot. A, try and put your opponent in trouble, and B, don't leave a red to either middle pocket. And with the red near the yellow bag as well, any loose cue ball, you pay the penalty. It's a stressful frame the way this is, and especially being the last of the session. I think both players are enjoying things out there, but not just at present. This is a tough old frame.
Yeah, there's not one player in the game enjoys this type of frame where they all go up the other end of the table. Now, this is a big shot he's taking on here. Huge shot. That was very risky and could be very costly. John comes into the table and, wow, he can't believe the easy starter he's got here.
One.
Yeah, talking about, excuse me, both players enjoying it yet. A school of thought that if you can enjoy the journey, the destination looks after itself. say, I think both players have enjoyed this to a degree. It's been tough going in stages. Definitely been better after the mid-session interval. Now, can John just close this frame out? But he's playing under huge pressure, even the way the balls are.
I know he's got a lot of balls to pot, but if he somehow can come out of this session just 2 behind at 5-3 after being 4-0 behind, he'll be delighted.
Yeah, and he wouldn't be worried at all going in this evening's session, because he'll have in his mind as well that frame 4 on a break of 55 and got a terrible contact. It definitely cost him the frame, or cost him. Well, he'd have been guaranteed to win the frame but for the kick. So he'll not be stressed going in 5-3 behind. A long, long way to go.
20.
And he does look in good nick when he's in close, and that's the important thing.
$21.
That's the figure he's looking to get to,
26.
67. And to get to that
27.
figure, he's going to have to pot quite a few balls, because after the blue, with the reds situated as they are, he's going to be on the lower valued colours.
$32. Thank you. 33.
Yeah, wisely just taking the kick out of the equation this time. Playing for the red down this end. Good thinking, that.
36.
Well, he's had a premature glance at the scoreboard there. He's only 16 points in front, so he's got to keep potting balls until the frame's safe. The 2 reds to the right
42.
of the yellow, they're okay, they're in nice potable positions. I love this shot as they zoom in on the table. It just gives you an indication of how
43.
big the snooker table is, 12 foot by 6 foot.
$46.
Had to pot quite a few balls to get 46.
Yeah, 25 in front before
47.
that red. John Higgins' snooker brain has been working overtime in this contribution, working out what he needs. Just peeling off these reds and hopefully not going to require the one in the side cushion. So 31 in front, the big shot now. Good position
52.
on the colour for the red and bulk.
I think the easiest colour to play for would be the blue. Needs to keep coming though.
53.
Needs to keep coming. He's the wrong side of the blue to get to the red. Near the yellow. And he's 32 in front. He's going to need the blue and one more red.
Why is he not even looking at the green? I just don't understand that.
Well, you know what he's looking at, Alan. He's looking at one of his famous doubles to clinch the frame.
Yeah, I mean, fair play if he pots it, but
58.
why is he not even looked at the green? This is risky. Oh, well done. Great shot.
59.
Made sure of the double. Wasn't too concerned about getting on the black. That was the most important part of the shot. But there's just one snooker needed at the moment, so you'd have to be very careful here, because the where the balls are situated, no problem getting a snooker.
John Higgins, 59.
Yeah, that break that John made, he had to pot 21 balls.
Yeah, and John putting the black safe at the tail end of that visit. I know exactly what he was thinking. He thinks, if Mark Williams gets a red, black, look at where Brown is to get a snooker. Red, black, yellow, green, pretty much guaranteed snooker if he got that far. So he was wise to park the black. Good hit by Mark.
What's he got up his sleeve here? There's a possible back double on. He's looking at the maybe the chance of playing a snooker to send the red past the yellow. And that way he's sending the red twice across and stunning in behind the yellow. Well, he slotted it in. He played it in such a way that he might have got the snooker, but to pot the red at that angle into the middle pocket was top class.
3.
Mark getting his bits together there.
5.
Before the start of play, if someone had have said to Mark Williams, "You'll take the session 5-3," he would have taken it gladly.
8.
He's marching around the table now, John Higgins. Chance to go and relax with some of his family and get himself
12.
ready for the evening session.
17.
A very
23
entertaining
on the
first
front.
session
John Higgins.
from these two former world champions. Mark Williams led 4-0, so John Higgins, he'll be pleased to have closed the gap to just 2. He's 5-3 behind though.
Got a little bit. Did they do anything? Not much. No, nothing. Joker, you should actually just ask us because the game's been nice. Yeah.